Look, this is going to be a bit of a hot take, but someone's got to say it. I think Title Update 4 is pretty good. Hello, my fellow hunters. It is a somber day, but it's also an exciting day, filled with potential. The latter because the new year dawns and 2026 beckons, along with all that it brings. And I hope that for you guys, it brings just pure loveliness. I hope you're having a wonderful New Year's Eve day, New Year's Eve, and do have a wonderful New Year's Day. The point being, you are all just phenomenal. Your watching of our adventures means the world to us. This community is everything, and we quite literally couldn't do it without you guys in a multitude of different ways. It is inspiring to get up each morning and make cool, useful, funny, helpful, hopefully those positive things, videos for you all, and I hope to do it for as long as you'll have us. So seriously, each and every one of you listening to these words literally right now that I am saying, Pancake, I say thank you for you and Happy New Year, however you celebrate. But we are now past the meat of Title Update 4, which means we're kind of past the era of base wilds. Yes, of course, we have like the mini update in February with AT Arkveld and the weapon. The beautiful, beautiful weapon. But all in all, base wilds has put itself to bed. And that's always a kind of somber moment, which is why it is a somber day too, knowing that we essentially wait now for Master Rank to continue that mainline Monster Hunter journey. There is plenty other Monster Hunteriness happening, and I actually want to talk about that soon, but for right now, let's look at Title Update 4 and how it was as a capstone to what has been a roller coaster of a high-rank game. There have been some highest highs and some lowest lows. I still maintain that my initial playthrough with Cotton of Wilds is my favourite Monster Hunter playthrough I've done. I loved the story and the flow of it, and I have enjoyed every one of the near 800 hours I have spent playing it since. But undeniably, Wilds has also had problems. The amount and type of endgame content at launch, the performance most of the way, and still for few people, though undeniably Title Update 4 has meaningfully improved it for so many. We saw that ourselves in our discussion on it recently when we polled you guys. And indeed, the initial difficulty was a little bit lackluster, and maybe you could argue sort of overcorrected towards the end, and we're in a situation where the amount of systems and skills on builds and just general monster power makes me think what is going to happen with Master Rank. It almost feels like we need a soft reset. But outside of that, Wilds has had, to me, the best monster roster for a base high rank game ever. The weapons all feel fantastic fun to play. I think wounds and focus mode have largely been a success. But I don't want to make this too much about Wilds as a whole. That's something still to look back and reflect on. But Title Update 4 then specifically, yeah, I think I can comfortably say it is my favourite title update that Wilds has got by a country mile. That's not that the others were lackluster. They've all actually been incredible. Like, Zoshia and Mizitsune were probably the most anticlimactic, as yes, you could definitely argue the game should have started with them, but getting him and his armor, the hub, that was still really, really fun. Seregios and Legiocris were both incredibly well made, Legiocris especially getting almost final boss treatment with his underwater section, and then Omega was just a masterclass in fun collab encounter design. But then, Title Update 4, gogmazios himself is just an incredible hunt. In terms of repeatedly farming him and killing him with efficiency, there is definitely merit to he's a little bit too rigid, a little bit too set-piecey, and I think the main valid one for me is the slinger ammo plays perhaps too large of a role in phase 3, but Gogmazios is meant to be a finale to Wilds. That's his objective. And on that front, he is an absolutely, to my mind, smash hit of a success. He is appropriately filled with spectacle moments that make sense, the story surrounding him is really cool, and the whole Elder Breaker in Phase 2 is a really fun set piece, and I really do like Phase 3. I do think the proof of a hero moment hits. I think him being easier than Omega does perhaps lend it a little bit of an anticlimax, but he's also not easy by any means. He is comfortably in the 2nd to 5th hardest monster in the game, and if you ignore versions of monsters, he is the hardest monster in the game, because he's harder than non-Savage Omega, harder than any other base monster. But that aside, he is appropriately spectacular as a momentous, wow, I'm gonna remember that. You know, he's up there with your Atalkar, with your Nakakos, with old Gogmazios, and I think he really does encapsulate that. I think Fatalis was a better final hunt in Iceborne, but that's an incredibly high bar to clear. But I cannot say in any way that I am disappointed with the modern rendition of my favourite Elder Dragon. I think he really is something special, and I think as people have learnt more and more about the nuances of his fight, it's gotten more and more enjoyable to hunt over and over. So for me, Gogmazios is a solid 9.5 out of 10, in his position as a finale spectacle big boy climax hunt to base Monster Hunter Wilds. And then I'd give him an 8 out of 10 as a farmable, repeatable just hunt that exists. But no complaints in any serious way. Then we have, of course, the Gogma Artian system, and I think there's a lot of divisiveness when it does come to Artian and how that's ended up, RNG on RNG. But ultimately, Monster Hunter always kind of needs some sort of treadmill, whether relic weapons back in the day, just pure decorations in base world, that attack deco chase, or talisman RNG, there is something needed to keep hunting for and rolling those dice. And for me, I don't have a problem with that. I also don't have a problem with a weapon system that doesn't involve the actual Monster Hunter monster tree, because ultimately your weapon, as I keep saying, is a stat stick. If I can go out and hunt any monster, unlock the look of their greatsword, and then apply it to my Artian greatsword, then I am using that monster's greatsword, because it looks like that monster's greatsword. It's just got the stats of an Artian. And I know a few people don't agree with that ethos, and that's completely fine. There is no right or wrong here, there is just the system and how you enjoy it or not. But I think the one objective truth is that adding an extra set bonus, however it is implemented, is a really cool, fun thing, because it opens up so much set building shenanigans and potential, and that's something I adore. Theory crafting builds is second only to the world and ecology of the monsters for me when it comes to enjoying Monster Hunter, and just gaining one extra set bonus and group bonus has cracked builds wide open, and that, I think, is ridiculously enjoyable. I do think it takes a little bit too many materials and too much time to get something you actually want to use on both the reinforcements and the skills, but the actual core concept of it is great, as it was with Safi Jiva weapons. And coupling with that, armor transcending is perhaps the biggest winner. Being able to take completely forgotten and, let's be honest, useless rarity 5 and 6 armor and make it, well, meta again is just brilliant. It's like they essentially added about 6 new armor sets in Title Update 4 if we only include the actually good rarity 5 and 6 armor sets. And that's effectively huge. It's a lovely, lovely idea and a real stroke of cleverness. Honestly, we could have just expanded transcending to the weapons in the tree and transcended them above above Artian, and then that was part of giving them extra skills if we wanted to keep using the monster tree, and I could totally see an argument for that. But bottom line, Title Update 4 has expanded the endgame massively when it comes with treadmill to do and builds to make, and that's a big plus to me. Lumen Hymn is a fantastic festival, as they all have been, nothing too different from the others. I do think it's not got the best initial offering of stuff. That probably still goes to Flame Fate, I think, but all of the festivals have been really high quality, they've been gorgeous in the hub, and they've just been a lot of fun to experience, and there's no real complaints here. Then we got ourselves, of course, Arch-Tempered Jin Dahaad, who's an all-round fantastic addition to the Arch-Tempered Quartet apexes that we now have. Not quite as a standout example of what the AT system can do with, say, new Udra, but all 4 Arch-Tempered apexes would rank as the top 4 Arch-Tempereds, which is nice to see that that system, though it remains from Worldborn, is significantly better used. And having Jin actually be so potent, and technically, you know, you could totally argue that Arch-Tempered Jin is the Jin that Omega had a little bit of a tussle with, it would totally make sense, but in any case, yeah, he has been a lot of fun, he's just the right amount of challenge, not ridiculous, not a complete pushover, he hits hard, he likes to move a lot, but he certainly has enough mix-up to make him a really refreshing fight again, coupled with his armor set immediately giving another kick to Buildcraft after it's not even finished reeling from the kick it got from Title Update 4 in general. So all in all, I think Title Update 4 has added a lot and done a lot in a major and meaningful way, and has put Monster Hunter Wilds in a very complete feeling, even including performance somewhat now, base, high rank game, and I'm really happy with that. We have got the complete cake now, and then the cherry will be added in February with Arch-Tempered Arkveld. I think all things considered, it's come up good, for want of a better phrasing. And I don't think it's just me. If we have a look at the player numbers on Steam, we can see that Title Update 4 has spiked just as high as both Title Update 2 and 3. But most importantly, retained players a lot better. Title Update 2 had 133k at its peak, and then a week later was down to 41k, which is obviously a huge, colossal, steep dip. Whereas Title Update 4 had 123k, so a slightly lower peak, but a week on is still at 91, 50,000 ahead of Title Update 2, and 10,000 ahead of Title Update 3 in the same range. Now obviously getting Arch-Tempered Jin and Lumen Hymn so quick after release does help, but it certainly doesn't account for such a colossal W compared to at least Title Update 2. We'll see how it goes over the next couple of weeks, but it's safe to say that Title Update retention hasn't really fallen off, and that's really good. Clearly people are actually both enjoying the game and not getting as crippled by performance as we were with the proven improvements that Title Update 4 has finally brought. So yeah, ultimately, as a finale to Base Wilds, I think Title Update 4 is a massive success on the whole. There are still problems, of course there are, and for me the biggest one is that none of this happened earlier. Like, if Title Update 4 was essentially Title Update 3, or we still had a Title Update 5 to come, so we could look forward to proper new content with everything that Title Update 4 has added and built upon, that would be ideal. My honestly biggest gripe is it feels like Wilds has finally matured into something that you can be really happy with as a Monster Hunter game, just when it's also run out of meaningful new things to look forward to use it all against, which is kind of awkward, but if your main complaint is wanting more reasons to keep playing, that's only a good thing for the game in question. In any case, for me, I think Title Update 4 is one of the best title update for Base Wilds, and I think it is one of the best title updates just full stop in this modern title update-centric era of Monster Hunter. So, I would love to know what you guys think too. How have you enjoyed it? What is your favourite title update of Base Wilds? How do you currently see the state of Monster Hunter post-title update 4 as a capstone? For now, once again, Happy New Year's, and I hope you are gearing up for a great 2026. Like if you enjoyed this, subscribe and hit the bell for more, consider supporting the future of the channel on Patreon down below, and until we meet again, a goodbye.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.